hear my name, did I?
They were too loud, Maurice.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's it. They were pre-applauding me. While they were
There's a medication for pre-applauding.
If you suffer from pre-applauding, call this number.
Thank you very much.
1-800.
You're very welcome. Did I get you kind of freaked out with the water guns? They were gonna surprise you like it was a surprise birthday party. That was the whole plan.
Great. Well,
But you ruined a good surprise.
that outfit is fantastic. You can see it from the space station.
I'm like Phil Donahue out here. I gotta make sure you see me when I'm.
Look at that. Yes, sir. You're a glamour dude. It's great. Thank you so much for having us, man. What a pleasure.
Yeah.
Welcome to Knoxville, gentlemen.
We've got a wonderful town here. We've just been enjoying the heck out of it. Market Square, wonderful restaurants, beautiful people. We're having a wonderful time here. So it's a shame we have to run for a plane. I'd love to make a week of it. It's just a wonderful place. So thank you.
One place that everybody has to check out though is Dollywood. Have y'all had a chance to check out
No,
Dollywood?
we did not. No,
I think so, Blaine, but how much can a pigeon forge? I'm a stupid one.
You may not do it, but Dollywood. So.
Have a good day, everybody. Maurice, we won.
The brain. You know, what's best for you guys? Do you want to just do?
You want to ask us questions or just hear us banter?
This is your time.
Yes. This is your
Banter.
time.
I think they just want to hear you
Like a
banter.
therapist. Like a therapist.
Banter.
30 minutes.
I think they want to banter.
Banter? I hardly know her.
For Dollywood, anyway. Comedy does what's known as a callback. Yes, my friends.
Honestly, though, it really is, as Mo said, an absolute pleasure. And frankly, it's a privilege for which we both worked very hard. We do a lot of these events, as you can imagine, and every single time, we not only are quite cognizant of how unbelievably fortunate we are to be in this position, especially seeing so many families who it's like their parents have said, all right, if you're gonna watch cartoons, you're watching Pinky and the Brain.
Yes.
See, right there,
Right
yeah.
there.
Yeah, and
It
that,
crosses generations. We see little children who their parents and their grandparents have reared them
Yeah.
on the DVD discs because their children, who are now the parents, the adults, have watched it with them growing up in the 90s. So it touches us so much to know that we've had some kind of positive effect and brought some laughter to families and also some bonding time, because the show, as Tom Ruger and Steven Spielberg originally envisioned it, was a show that the children could enjoy and the parents would not be like fidgeting or wanting to get up and leave the kids in front of it, because there were some very hip in-jokes in the show. And the new show, the new version of that, followed that dictate as well, and with our new shows, what we show in Our Worlds of Wild. And you know, it's just such an honor to have been involved in something that's so lasting. And when you folks come and tell us that, and tell us that we made your childhoods better, I just want you to know you're making our late middle age boy. You know, that gives us some meaning to our lives. You know, we got to smile. Oh, let's face it, friggin' old age, okay? You make me old.
it is, Mo and I talk about this all the time, and it's absolutely true. We go home from every one of these events, and this is no different, utterly exhausted from saying thank you.
So stop thanking us, okay? You're working.
It's overwhelming, and never in a million years. When you first come to LA, and you go there with, you know.
If you decide to come to LA, just try and find out where he lives.
You just, you know, right now, there are a bunch of kids doing the same thing we did. Mo came from Toronto, I came from Michigan a million years ago, and you just think, oh my God, if I get an agent. And then you think, oh my God, if I get some auditions. And then I think, if I just book a job, then you book one. And in your wildest dreams, you can't imagine that when you're much closer to the end than the beginning, you have this opportunity to go around to Knoxville and other places and have a super.
Screw those other places. It's all about
It's all
Knoxville.
about
This is the best town we've ever been to.
It's called Northville.
A lot of signage needs to be changed, Pinky, but we shall get right on that. Yeah. Our minions here are under my control, and they have paintbrushes as well.
But honestly, this is not the acoustics are fine. We can hear you. Don't need a mic. Does anybody have a question? Yes, sir.
I'm 55 years old and I've watched a lot of TV.
God bless. I'm sorry, 65?
55.
I'm 67. And our boss, Stephen, is 77, so it's okay.
But y'all seen a part, which was one of my favorite parts, when Pinky would ask the brain what we're going to do today. Can y'all do that for
Hey,
us?
God, what are we going to do tonight, Brian?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over Knoxville. And you know, the beauty of that part of the show, you know, whether you think that Brain's evil, or whether he's just megalomaniacal, or whether the subtext of him is that he wanted to take over the world because he thought he could rule it better than what's going on right now. But the through line of the show is that every show ended on that note. And I think the message we tried to give those watching is no matter what happens, don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, Brain's stick-to-itiveness, the idea that even as the plan lays in ruin, thanks to Pinky. Never due to my own hubris, of course. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. That's the idea of the show, is that you just never give up. Yes.
Okay, so there's a theory that the brain was actually the insane one the whole time because Pinky was kind of like the.
Oh, it's not a
Yeah, I
theory.
was
Jim.
going to say that's yeah.
But I just was wondering, like, what do you put into that as like yourselves, like putting in your own like kind of insane?
Oh my goodness.
Well, let's just put it this way. Pinky cannot build an infundibrillator with parts found around the house. So you decide who's the genius. I may also be a little insane, because as a 2-inch tall lab mouse, what makes me think I can take over the world? But he's definitely not the genius. Unless you count the ability to levitate fruit with his mind.
Yeah.
So it really fits both of them. One could be, whatever, it's your point of view. Either he's the genius and I'm insane. I'm certainly not an idiot, though. The character's not an idiot because he can do all this great scientific stuff. So there's genius to him, but there's also genius to him. And he's also kind of loopy, and I'm also kind of insane for thinking I could take over the world. So it's a one-size-fits-all diagnosis.
I'll tell you what, though, it's really interesting. Mo was in
I'm Mo, by the way.
It was Maurice. Yeah. Mo was in a circumstance years ago. I've had the great privilege of having Mo in my life as a friend for, oh my goodness, 35 years, I think. And when we were auditioning for Animaniacs/Pinky and the Brain, Maurice, you talk about having his input or his sensibilities as a comedian, impressionist, actor. When Mo walked in with his take on the Brain, they canceled the rest of the auditions, which is not only unusual, it's really unusual for a Steven Spielberg production. That's a clean sheet of paper, and they were auditioning people in New York and Chicago and Hollywood. So to walk in and say, oh, here's what I'm going to do, and then he did what we all love.
Well,
That is a remarkable thing. So it was, he literally imbued that character.
but that was
with
pure.
sensibility.
It was pure happenstance, because when I saw the first, model sheet of the Brain, I did not know they had based it on an anonymous writer formerly at Hanna-Barbera. There was a friend of Tom Ruger's named Tom Minton, who, if you Google Tom Minton, you'll see
It'll blow your mind
that
when you see
face in human form. But I didn't know Tom Minton at the time, and I saw those jowly cheeks, that furrowed brow, and I just thought, oh, they've drawn an Orson Welles lab mouse for me. Because they know I do Orson Welles. I have this annoying habit of whenever there was a lull in the studio, I would just do this outtake of Orson Welles making a frozen foods commercial in England. Back in the days of tape, when they would have to rewind the tape and and then splice, and then, you know, and if you take 5 minutes to change the reel, I would just sit there going, we know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that? Oh, it's not about a half a second late. Don't you think you really want to save your life over the snow and at the time? If you could make it almost when that tortoise clears, I think it'll make much. I think it's so nice that you see a snow-covered field every July. Please grow there. Here we are living in the field, you see. And I'd go on and I'd do the whole thing for 5 minutes. So I just thought, wow. They're so entertained by my Orson Welles impression. They want me to do an Orson Welles lap mouse. And I just did it. And nobody had thought of it. Nobody thought Orson Welles mouse. In fact, I don't know if they were looking for anything below tenor. You know, just a little tiny thing. So the juxtaposition of this baritone voice coming out of this tiny mouse, and then it being Orson Welles, they just went, to them, they went, that's inspired. And they think, oh, that's Moe's ego. They thought, oh, that's inspired. And Andrea Romano said, we just shut down the auditions for the rest of the day. We knew you were going to be great.
That's something.
And they spent the next 2 days trying to find Pinky. And by the end of day one, the front runner was Sean Astin's dad, John Astin, who's a dear friend of ours. And he might have been interesting if Rob had the flu or something the next day. He might have been, gee, Brain, what do you want to do tonight? And we do every night, Gomez. Try to take over the world. You know, I thank God this guy did walk in, because it's been a pairing and a partnership that has lasted 27 years.
Yeah.
And we were friends before that. We just really bonded. We knew we loved each other and these characters and our own set. We have a very similar sense of humor. On every other level, he's a car guy, a gearhead. I just know you press on the gas pedal, and then you step on the other thing and it stops. That's the extent of my knowledge of cars. And yet I sold Lexuses for 7 years on your television set. I was the voice of Lexus. I was the 2016 Lexus GS. Once driven, there's no going back. Single Lexus. But I'm not a car guy. He's a sports guy and a hockey player and a hockey fan. I have a total blind spot where sports are concerned. But we bond over comedy. We bond over the most important thing, what makes us and what makes other people laugh. And that's our entire friendship is based on that, and compassion, and our belief that listening and honoring makes the world a better place. And that's just what we're about. You know? So,
Thank you very much. Hey, Jackson, you got a question, right?
What was your favorite episode of Pinky and the Brain that you guys worked on?
The next one, it means we're working.
Maybe there'll be a next one.
Okay, my favorite, fair enough. You're very specific. Totally get it. Well, I think Mo and I share this. There are many. I really love Bubba Bo Bob.
Bubba Bo Bob Brain was. That was the one where we really found the voices, not in a technical sense, although the voices we used in that episode became the voices, because we were experimenting. Some episodes prior to that, like Meet John Brain, I was just really deep in the bass of Orson Welles. And Andrea said it doesn't have enough expression. You've got to color it a little more with some highs and lows. But with Bubba Bo Bob Brain, Sherry Stoner's script was so hilarious. And so full of that understated anger, that suppressed, slow burn rage for Brain, and the undying optimism and helpfulness of Pinky.
Hey, God, Bubba Dee Bubba Lula.
Bubba Bo Bob Brain. It was so hilarious in the turn, which we won't tell you because I know there's at least one person in here who has never seen Bubba Bo Bob Brain. And at my behest, I'm actually going to buy my friend the entire second volume so you can see that one. And it's probably that and the Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode for its heartwarmingness, but it's seasonal. It's hard to watch that thing in the summer.
Yeah.
But we've got a night. We did a night of
At the Improv.
at the Improv where we did a pajama party.
Yeah.
Bring a pajama. Wear your pajamas and bring a toy for Toys for Tots, and admission is free. And we had an in-person watch party. We packed out the Improv and we just put on the Christmas special and then took questions at the end. It was great, and you could hear
Yeah.
From the audience. People were crying. It's a heartwarming episode if you've never seen it. So so the Pinky and the Brain Christmas special and Buckle Bob Up Brain. And for me, I also love Spellbound.
Spellbound. That's
Because
oh my dragon to see
yes,
me.
exactly. It was the one that proved that we could carry a show. They did it was the first half hour Pinky and the Brain. It was an Animaniacs episode, but the whole show was just Spellbound, medieval Pinky and the Brain, and we ended up with a spun off into the Pinky and the Brain primetime show from that. Yeah.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, so have you guys ever used your like voice acting abilities for light evil? You know, you're going through a drive-through and you just
Totally. I remember my son and I think this was probably about the mid-90s when the show had started to really get an audience, and there were McDonald's Happy Meal toys at at the place, at the store, and so I remember sitting there with my son and saying, "Hey, you want me to go through the drive-through and order stuff as Yakko?" And he said, "Let's see what happens." I said, "Can I take your order, please?" And I said, hi, yeah, I would like 47 Big Macs, 2 with no meat, 1 with 1 sesame seed on every other bun. And this whole thing, and then there was this dead silence. It was great. And then there was just like about 4 or 5 seconds of silence. And then, what?
Keanu Reeves was actually working.
This is why I love him. That inspires me. I believe I love what I perceive to be miscasting in certain movies.
Oh, yeah.
I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I love Gary Oldman. I love Carrie Elwes is in that too.
Marjorie, your friend.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's great. But then when it's so great when Keanu knocks on Dracula's door and Gary Oldman goes with his big hair and he comes in and I think he's wearing a cross or something, and Dracula goes, and then Keanu says, "If I have offended you, I'm sorry." I love that. But anyway, yeah, totally, we've done it. And same thing with Raphael when we ordered pizza. It was, pizza at Raphael's house. It was great fun. And tell them what happens every time we go to like the TSA or customs. This is great.
No, this was, I don't know how, oh yeah, there was one time I was wearing a Brain t-shirt and we were in, was it Winnipeg? I think it was Regina. It was Regina, Saskatoon, yeah, Saskatoon. And we were coming back from Canada to the United States. Or United States, Canada.
Mexico,
Yeah, come on. Anyway, and they saw the shirt and they said, I like your shirt. I said, thanks. What were you doing here? Well, we were at Saskcon, whatever it was called. And they said, oh, what were you doing there? I said, well, do you ever watch, you don't know the show Pinky and the Brain? This is Pinky. Hello. And then he goes, no. Yeah. And he pointed at me, and this is the Brain. And I went, yes, my friend. And all of a sudden, them being these very suspect, customs and border officials to, oh my God. Forget our names and Google us. We're the guys in the credits. And then they were like, we don't care if you got heroin on you. Come forward. Anything a little kid. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. When we got to you in your childhoods, you see. We hit you right into childhood. And now we are forever there, my friends. Just like noodle dogging in the iconoclast. Yeah.
You succeeded in mind control.
That's right.
Yes.
Peyton, did you have a question, sir?
I have one just for you. Sorry.
Well, it's all about me, friend.
Yes.
It's not Pinky in the Brain, but it's like a very odd turns question.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know, you were like in the voice casting, so there's an episode called Fairy Idol.
Fairy what, I'm sorry?
Fairy Idol,
Fairy Idol, okay.
where Norm Macdonald, Norm,
Oh, yeah.
is trying to become a fairy,
Uh-huh.
where he tricks Cosmo Warning, with this.
Right.
Well, I want to know, was that actually Simon Cowell in the episode, or was that another voice actor?
Oh, that was Norm. Yeah. Anytime there are, in fact, didn't Norm do?
Norm never, but he was a fan of Pinky the Brain.
That's what it was.
But Norm, no.
Oh, no, it was Don Novello.
Oh, Don
Father
Novello.
Guido Sarducci,
Yeah.
yeah, Don was on our show.
He was on Hysteria.
That's what it was, Hysteria.
It was great.
But yeah, no, that was Norm Macdonald. They had, Butch Hartman, the creator, had, I think, Gene Simmons from Kiss was on the show. Yeah, and any time that they bring in a celebrity, it certainly with respect to the shows I've worked on, they brought in a real, unless of course like
Celebrities,
Mo.
well, the thing is, celebrities love the idea of immortalizing their voices
Yeah.
in stuff that their kids and grandkids can watch. Because a lot of them are in adult stuff, and where it's rock music, it's loud, whatever, and their kids may not listen to it. But if they get to be in an episode of Fairly Odd Parents, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and or the myriad feature films, then they go, this is for the kids,
Sure.
and they probably do it for the same money we do, they just want it. There's something special about you as an actor. The first time you hear your voice come out of a moving cartoon is it's like a moving comic book that I got chills the first time I saw it. It's like, wow, that's my voice. I'm like, now I'm in the same world as Alan Reed and Mel Blanc, Fred and Barney. It's a thrill to us. I still at times I'll watch an old episode of Pinky and the Brain and forget it's me. It's just been long. There's enough distance between the old show and now that I no longer think about like where I was sitting, how I was wondering what we were ordering for lunch that day. It's like Brain is real. Brain
Yeah, it's
becomes
pretty
real to me.
cool.
Yeah.
It's really something. We have had so many incredibly wonderful people, movie stars, celebrities, with whom we've had the great good fortune to work.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool getting to work with people that you get chills sitting next to.
Yeah.
And what is really great is seeing all these really famous men and women come into a session, and then they watch Maurice and Frank Welker go off, and they're utterly intimidated because they're like,
Well, we're
I
doing like
wasn't
a half
hired
dozen
to do
voices
that.
each in a single episode, so
Yeah, but
it just
it's
bounces
amazing.
all over the joint. And Frank is, truly amazing to me, and I'm pretty good at my job, but Frank is he can do, what is it, 16 ducks?
Yeah,
He can do a choir
singing at the same time.
He can do a choir of ducks that it's like all the different pitches and keys that they're singing in. He's amazing. So
With little or no chemical inducement.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Our Jedi friend.
The very handsome Jedi in the back. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
So I got two questions for both of you guys.
Sure.
I'm good. Can you talk to us about what it's like working with the cast of Futurama and all the side characters that you have to do? And then also for Paulson, how long did it take you to learn the nations of the world? And I can say August was a little bit more of that.
Okay. Yeah. There was plenty of chemical inducement. Now, I'll let Mote, because some of you may not know this.
the Mexico No, that's not what I
But
do.
listen,
That's not what I do.
Our
I
friend
do
Maurice-
hippocampus neuronode. Video, right hemisphere. Anyway,
Tell me before I speak. Maurice won back-to-back primetime Emmys for his work on Futurama.
I have to say, I was nominated for Pinky and the Brain, but my friend here actually won an Emmy for playing Pinky. And it's still been my dream to win one for playing Brain.
How many characters do you do on Futurama?
Somebody with a lot more time than me, and this was quite a few years back, so they didn't count the reboots and any of the characters from the 4 movies, but they counted from the original series. And I did, according to, including one-offs, characters that appeared once and never came back again, 72. And, you know, that includes some of my regulars like Kiff, Morbo, Calculon, of course. He was about, bios. I can't say that name, but it's like when somebody asks me what I'm doing tomorrow night, I always have to say the same thing I do every night, Steve. Trying to take over the world. So, yeah, hedonism bond is just always better than having me bumped and dipped over and over into a vat of the finest creams and oils. Doing all those characters, but 72 is not the record.
What was that?
Tress MacNeille does 74.
Really?
Yeah, on Futurama. That was the count. So, yeah, Billy West only does a mere 52. That upstart. Playing, of course, he's playing three of the main characters in the whole main wheelhouse. He's Fry, Zoidberg, and the Professor. Plus he's Zap, who is the big, you know, the most frequent guest star, along with Lieutenant Kiff Croker. Avoid velour, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can advise you. How many of you are looking forward to the new season of Futurama? July 24th. We start on Hulu once a week. So reboot. We don't call it a reboot. It's a continuation. A reboot would be like what we did with Animaniacs was a reboot because they changed it stylistically. They kind of rewrote the
opening title thing they rewrote
yeah.
too.
So, but with Futurama, we pick up where we left off. It looks beautiful. It looks exactly the same as the episodes from 2014, and you're gonna love it. That's great. The scripts are hilarious and brilliant and genius. So, getting to work with that cast, I believe that's what you want to be. That's what you'd like to work with the cast. We have 8 voiceover geniuses on that show: Dave Herman, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, Frank Welker is in there as well. John DiMaggio, you know, he does the thing. And then we have Katie Seagal, who plays one character, but she's the moral center and the linchpin of the show. And Billy West, you know, and then our dear Tress, who just is every woman in the world to me in animation.
Yeah.
She's amazing, absolutely. I mean, Tress MacNeille does 3 different raspy-voiced old ladies. I mean, and they're each distinct and separate. You know, Hattie doesn't sound quite the same as Flo, who doesn't sound quite the same as the crazy cat lady, but from Simpsons. But she's so good. She's so specific with her characters, and such a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Everything she does is funny. She just vibrates and funny. You know.
And with respect to Yakko's World, honestly, I don't know how long it took to memorize it, but the story. Like most said, I'm good at my job. Jesus Christ, they ought to be. I've been doing it. You know, my high school yearbook picture was a cave painting, so I've been doing it. But no, I've been in Hollywood for 45 years, so I'm good at my job. But I live in Hollywood. You can throw a dart and hit a good singer in Hollywood. What you can't do is find somebody who writes that stuff. And the thing that is so remarkable about Yakko's World. It was the first song I ever recorded for Animaniacs, so the bar was pretty high right off the bat. But the real story is that our friend Randy Rogel, who wrote that, was already writing on Batman, for which he won an Emmy. And then he heard about Animaniacs being produced, and he said, oh my God, my background is musical comedy, as a singer, as a dancer, and he writes music. So he's, hey, I want to work on this show. Look, dude, you're writing on Batman. You just won an Emmy. You want more money? No, I can do them both. So he was bothering him so much. Talk about never giving up. And the producers said, all right, go home and write a song on spec, which basically is an audition. You write a song for no money or a script, and you present it to them, and then if they like it, they'll hire you. So that weekend, he wrote Yakko's World. That was his audition piece. Absolutely astonishing. And I love telling that story because not only is Randy a profoundly gifted individual, he is the most unassuming, utterly unpretentious West Point grad, Boston University grad, and now he's got his own musical. He wrote the music, the lyrics, everything.
And the book.
And the book.
Mm-hmm.
And is headed to London's West End to open there, and I guarantee you we'll end up on Broadway. And Randy's pushing 70, and he's as busy now as he's ever been. But that Yakko's World cartoon, I could argue, is a seminal piece of American animated art. You don't have to know the show, you don't have to speak English, you can watch that, and it is remarkable. And I really hope you get a chance to meet
We have time for one last question. One last question. We have
Oh,
one more.
I'm sorry. All right, yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, no, I changed my mind. No, sorry. Just kidding.
So I know this is not a pinky ring, but I would love it if you could actually sing the countries of the world.
Oh, all right. What? Check it.
Yeah.
Have we got 2.5 minutes? Ish? Well, I promise you, this gentleman wasn't a plant. All right. Well, thank you very
Cameras
much.
up.
Before I do, I'm sorry we can't get to all your questions. I'm so sorry, my friend. I love you to death, and you are just far too handsome. So if you would leave a little bit of handsome for the rest of us, it would be very kind. Before I sing this, seriously, Maurice and I truly cannot quantify what your kindness writ large means to us. This whole experience, the way you folks connect with these characters, is not about ratings, it's not about merchandise, it's not about anything but a pure connection of joy that you consistently share with us, for which we can never properly thank you. And so, thank you.
Thank you.
It means a lot. On that note,
Which note is that? What note does that song start on?
I don't know, let's pick one. How about United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Cuba, El Salvador, Peru, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still, Guatemala, Bolivia, Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Mr. Vegas, and on, Paraguay, Uruguay, Spain, and Mexico, Barbados, and Guam, Norway, and Sweden, and Iceland, and Germany, now, and Greece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey, and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq, and Iran, there's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, Mexico, and Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, President, Denmark, and Spain, India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, and Bangladesh, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, Sudan, Indonesia, the Philippines, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, and Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. But wait, there's more. Ooh, right near Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Myanmar, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Timor, Kenya, Albania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Libya, Sudan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Paulson, the Whistle Man!